I had intended to record about how my iPhone was taken on Monday, 24th March this year, and returned on 18th June this year. I had intended to cover two things. I had intended to tell you how it was gotten from me and how it was returned to me destroyed. How a very good but old iPhone was taken from me and how it was returned spoiled. I want to tell you that I have even not recovered, because I was even checking a place where I'm supposed to get an iPhone, and they're expensive. So there's a place where I was supposed to give out some money. I was supposed to give out some money deposit, and then I pay monthly for 12 months to get a new iPhone. What do you call it? Mdogo mdogo. But when I applied, the same people saw that for over 6 months, for less than 6 months, my M-Pesa was not active. And what they look for is your M-Pesa statements for 6 months. They look for your M-Pesa statement for 6 months, and those 6 months, my M-Pesa statement was dead. So I was not qualified. And as I said, I wanted to talk about two things: how my iPhone was gotten, and how it was returned, especially the condition it was gotten and the condition it was returned. It was taken while it was very old, but functioning very well. It has been returned spoiled. Actually, the 6,000 that I've used in trying to revive it, if I would have known from the word go, I would have used that as a deposit so that I get a new phone, a new iPhone, and then start using it and pay monthly installments. I wanted to talk about how it. The second thing is, I also wanted to share with you about living a life of 12 weeks and 2 days not being on phone, not being on phone. But I've seen that those two topics are too long. I'll on issue on how life was without a phone. I think most probably I will cover it in a subsequent shooting. So today I want just to say how the phone was gotten, how the phone was taken from me, and how it was returned. Between Monday 24th March and the 18th June this year, my iPhone was the hands of rogue police officers. Yet when it was returned, it was dismantled. They say that one bad apple spoils the rest. As a former police officer, as a former police inspector, I appreciate the fact that when one has been misusing telecommunication equipment, the DCI have to confiscate the equipment for forensic tests. But in this case, in this particular case, and in a very, very few other cases, you find that the bad apple spoils the good apple, spoils the others. How can we find a way where a genuine case of forensic examination is not penetrated by crooks in uniform? I understand very much that there are cases when you use your communication gadget against the law, I understand that the government, especially the detectives, are supposed to confiscate your, just like in a shooting instance, uh, when there is a shooting incident, there is the firearms licensing officer who is supposed to come up and say that of all these guns, the gun that killed or the gun that was used to shoot this person, after checking the bullet and whatever, we have discovered that it is a certain gun, not just like during my time, it would be concluded that you were shot by a G3, and there were about 5 G3s which came out of the hammer suit. But forensic, let's say like that one of firearms, it is the firearms are withdrawn so that they come out and say that the bullet that did the damage came from this particular uh, firearm. So I really appreciate that there is need for confiscation of telecommunication equipment for forensic investigation to determine if somebody was misusing that particular equipment. That one I appreciate and I understand. But I still want to ask us, how can we find a way where a genuine case of forensic examination is not penetrated by crooks in uniform? And as I've said, that one bad apple spoils the rest. I have made various complaints, especially to regional police headquarters and regional DCI headquarters. But I am taken round circles. I'm taking the round circles. From their words and action, I see them telling me to be human and understanding. To be human and understanding that the affected police officers, they have families, they have careers on them and whatever. That I should be very understanding as a former police officer and as a former senior police officer. I'm the one who is supposed to very much know that any action I take against them will be a permanent effect on them. So you are not told in exactly what I've said, but you can read between the lines. That is what the delay is. Imagine for the long time I've been there, you are taken round. Perhaps, and I get the impression that the intention is you get tired. The intention is you get tired and give up on the case. You get tired and you see there's no need of pursuing the case. That is the only thing I read between the lines. Perhaps when they abducted me, they didn't imagine that I had a family. Because here are the people, we all know the circumstances that I was abducted. Uh, I'll not repeat that one again. But then, how comes that they, how comes that I am supposed to be that? And that is how people misuse others. Atuna roho mzuri, so you are told, yeah, you understand, you see the action you are taking. If things go to their conclusive, whatever, even right now, you see any complaint you make against a police officer, it may end up in 3 ways. It may end up in one, it may end up that the officer was wrong and action is taken against him in one way or another, including sacking and jailing. There is another way where it is found that you are making a malicious complaint. That is a second option. And the third option is they can understand that it was a genuine miscommunication. So all those ways, anything you make about the police and it is written, it goes to their files. So I'm being told, oh, ABCD, to understand that they have families. Perhaps when they abducted me, they didn't imagine that I had a family. Because here's a case now, I'm being told, you see, they have families and whatever. I am supposed to understand that. But they, when they abducted me, they didn't understand that I had a family. No wonder when they abducted me, they didn't allow me to make a phone call. Today, everybody over 18 has a phone. Everybody of 18 years and above has a phone. When I was a recruit, nobody, not even the president of Kenya, had a mobile phone. That was November 1982. Now, what we were taught in 1982 is that when somebody has been arrested, there used to be a coin box. There used to be a coin box at the police station. You would allow him or her to make a phone call to her people or his people and tell them, I've been arrested. I've been arrested. I am in such and such a police station. But they made sure that I did not call anybody. They made sure that I was even taken to another police station. Imagine, even if you are arrested in the police station where you are staying, your people are supposed to be told, unless you don't want them to be told. But you are supposed to tell your people that I've been arrested in such and such a place. But they made sure that I did not call anybody, and they made sure that I was removed from Riruta police station to Gigiri. Anyway, before telling you the chronological narration, I get this impression that I'm being taken round circles with the intention that somehow along the way, I find that I am wasting time and then move on. For your information, that is why I decided to upload this. Because yes, you have done that to a lot of people and they have moved on. But I'll move on my way. I also get the picture that many police officers, most police officers, are jailed or sacked because of an overt or covert hand of a serving police officer or officers or even ex-police officers. Now, when I go around, people try to remind me that. So they try to remind you that, you see, if you do that, so and so, you know the record, you know if we take out the number of police officers who have been sacked because of serving and former police officers participating in their sacking, you'll find that they have dealt with 90-something% of the sacked. I parted with my payslip because of my then rank mates, the late Faris Moriasi and John Kabong. So I understand. I am also, there's also that written, that unspoken word and whatever. You see, hata wewe, hmm, you see, you know what you went through, the hardships. So now you want another police officer to go through the same. And you see, when those people were handling me, you could think they're dealing with the most dangerous criminal in the country. My experience, especially with the Riruta police station or Riruta police officers, should have served Madam OCS to have at least intervened. She should have at least intervened. She should have, yeah, that man, I know him, whatever. He should have at least done something. But she didn't. Some other OCSs within Nairobi do tell me that don't go public about Riruta OCS because she is a warm-hearted person, and if things go bad for her, she has young children, etc., etc. But then the question is, why should only one side should empathize with others? Why do you expect me to be so human? And I think that is why sometimes I say okay, there is a Bible. There is a verse in the Bible, I can't recall which. There's a verse in the Bible which says, good people continue being good and the bad people continue being bad. So that is, I think people are trying to speak on that way. by trying to tell us good people to be very understanding, even if the bad person has been bad to you. Sincerely speaking, the way I know Riruta OCS, if you are to meet her in civilians when she's on off duty, you'd mistake her for a nun. Actually, her body look, her demeanor, the way she talks to people very politely and whatever. I can assure you that if somebody was to tell me about what I've gone through, if it was somebody else who would have told me that he has gone through that, I would say, unadanganyia Madam OCS. She's very good. She's very polite. She's so diplomatic. That one, there is no question about it. Sometimes when I visualize her, like now, I ask myself, why, 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 why? She has been in Riruta for long. She knows me and whatever. Right now, the position, her position, and other OCSs around in Nairobi who I've met is that she's a kind-hearted person. That one is, there's no question about it, and whatever, whatever. And I should be sympathetic to her. But I'm being told that what I know about her should form a basis of whatever action or inaction I take. But the question is, why did she do that? Why didn't she do that when the powers were in her hand? Nanyongwa na mate. Why does a gazetted officer tell me to have mercy and understanding when these few cops, gazetted officers are senior police officers? If you look at their whistle lanyard, it has very many colors. So why does a gazetted officer tell me to have mercy and understanding when these few cops, with the knowledge that they have of me, treat me as if I was Wakinyonga, Madheri, and so on? They are paid to think straight and not to make irrational moves. Yet, they expect me to be very understanding instead of the vice versa. They expect me to understand them, but when they had the club in their hands, they did not understand me. My YouTube business has collapsed. They are the cause. Anybody who deals with YouTube, anybody who has an account with YouTube, especially if YouTube has started paying you, shows that every 20th of the month, they say that there is a link that is called YT Studio. YT Studio. That is the link that, one, it tells you how you are performing, if people are watching your videos or not. Two, that YT 92, that YT Studio is the one that tells you how to, you are supposed to use that one to claim your money every month. You are supposed to claim your money every month. They tell you, you have earned so much, so go and get it. It was not that way. I remember even begging them every week that it is just like you have closed my shop. Can't you return the phone so that every 20th of every month I am supposed to be earning? But anyway, so they expect me to be very understanding, but they refused. I'm using the word they refused to reason because as much as I begged them, I would even tell them that I would be evicted from my house. But they say, what's wrong with that? Why can't you tell landlord that you are a suspect under investigation by the DCI. And I used to tell them, in Nairobi, once the agent knows that you are a suspect in a DCI case, they give you a notice of vacation. But it seemed to them as if that was music to their ear. My economics teacher at Bungoma High School in 1980 used to say that even when you are not deducted taxes on your payslip, but you buy things, you board a matatu, you do everything, you pay tax. Because, for example, if you board a matatu, the matatu goes to a petrol station, buys fuel, there is the fuel charge that the government, fuel levy that the government gets. My business working gets me out of crime. With a collapsed business, I end up in a crime. Do we say that the police are increasing the number of crooks so as to get busy? We would have expected the police to have a situation where they encourage and even participate in job creation, because with the more jobs, imagine somebody working 5 days a week from 8 to 5, from 8 to 5. That person has only one weekend to relax and he has money. But somebody who has 24/7 no job and he has to get money, he becomes a crook. Now here is a case where the detectives are putting some people out of business, so that these people now become destitute. Now, these people become destitute. Do we say that the police are increasing the number of crooks so as to get busy? The so-called complainant, as of now, is a convicted criminal. As of now, when she started this case, she had, in the course of the case, from 24th March to 18th June, somewhere in between, she was convicted by Milimani Law Court of contempt. She was convicted of contempt of court by Milimani Court. As I'm recording this, I've never appeared in court as an accused person. Now, here is a situation of a very known criminal ordering police around, coming to get a former senior police officer, a former police inspector, to be handcuffed and to be escorted by 4 wielding machine gun police officers in a hired Uber. Where is Kenya? Where is Kenya going? Now, let me tell you one thing. Police, National Police Service, there are 3 arms. There is the DCI, there is the General Duties, people call it KPS, and then there is the AP services. They mostly deal with criminal law. But in a civil case, a case where someone wants to sell family land at a place called Hadi, Koitobos Road, junction of Koitobos Road and Twiga Hill Road, walking distance from Giraffe Center. I volunteer. Nobody even gave me the fare. Nobody did anything. I just felt it was bad that she was selling 2 properties. One in Thika. I don't know where in Thika, but I came to learn that it was in Thika. And another one in Hadi. So I'm going through all this just because if I would not have gone to the court and given evidence before Environment and Land Court, these things would not have happened. So does it mean that the National Police Service does not recognize civil cases? Because if you can give an evidence in a civil case, if you can give evidence in a civil case, and the police officers come, I don't know whether the driver had a concealed rifle, no, had a concealed revolver or pistol, but the other people who are coming, four of them, had submachine guns, the new ones, which I think they are called chameleon. You can see the bullets from outside. Does it mean that the National Police Service, especially the Directorate of Criminal Investigation, can we say that it is a department of criminal industry? Now, here are people from the Department of Criminal Industry from a police station where Jumaisi, the person who killed 40 something women, to them, they don't even want to know where Juma. That is little of their problem. And Juma, okay, if the National Police Service is to deal with strictly with issues of, if the National Police Service is to deal strictly with the criminal case, is that not a criminal case? Now you are handing down a person who just woke up one day, went and wrote a statement, presented it before Environment and Lands Court. They stopped. They stopped the criminal from selling land. Now that to you, that is what is more important than even sleeping sleepless nights looking for Jumaisi. You know what Jumaisi being out there alive means. It means that many women are in danger. It means that a lot of intelligence, because if you get him and he tells us he could not even be alone. Obviously, he was not alone. How could he break out of a police station as secure as Gigiri without a lot of things? Now, to you, that is not important. But to you, somebody complaining that a person whom you work with, a police driver, then you do that. Here is a criminal who calls the shot. She leaves her residence near Giraffe Center and bypasses Hardy Police Station. 5 meters from Hardy Police Station, goes all the way, to Gigiri DCI offices. For your information, Hardy Police Station is less than 5 kilometers from Ongata Rongai in Kajiado County. She goes to the other end. From the most southern police station in Nairobi, she goes to Gigiri Police Station, which is the most northern. How many police stations and from police formation has she bypassed? Very many. She goes to Gigiri Police Station, where her husband is a driver under that command. And as I said again, Gigiri Police Station is where Jumaisi was last documented. She chooses a police station which both her lover is under that division command. She chooses a police station where Jumaisi, one of the worst criminals in Kenya, actually people like Rasta, Wanugu, Wakinyonga, they are better because these people used to steal money. But Jumaisi killed people and killed women. So she knew that the best place she can order them around is Gigiri Police DCI office. Now for 5 detectives, one driver whom I say must have a concealed small firearm, and four detectives armed with chameleon submachine guns, the same strength that is used by APs to guard one bank. To them, Jumaisi, who killed 45 women, including his own wife, is not a bother to them. But someone who tells a law court that such and such a piece of land should not be sold is a great somebody who deserves a state research bureau type of treatment. Oh, oh, oh. In these recordings, I'm supposed to talk about how I stayed for 12 weeks and 2 days without a phone. So let me try as much as possible to be within the topic. And I also want to say what happened to my phone for the period of time. I want to say here that my iPhone never left Gigiri even a day. That one I believe. I want to state categorically that for the 12 weeks and 2 days, my iPhone never left Gigiri police station. I want to say that these thugs in uniform, after compelling me to open the iPhone and give them an open PIN number, they would spend hours on it, especially evening. Let me elaborate here. After getting the phone, they wanted me to give them a number that I can remember and they can remember, so that during the time they are having the phone, they can open it. So we agreed that I changed the PIN number from what it was to the date that I was arrested. That is 24/03/25. That was the new PIN number between, what do you call, between March 28 and March 24 and 18th June. That was the when. But when I recovered the phone, I changed it to reverted it to its former PIN number. So for the time that I had placed that number, uh, that is when they had access to it, and they were supposed to take it to DCI lab for forensic, what do you call, for forensic check. But in the absence of contradicting evidence by them, this is what must have happened. You know, they used to open my iPhone and go through and whatever, as I will talk. But let me say this, that one night, after assessing my iPhone and it being low on battery, they left it to charge overnight. Something must have delayed them for them to come early the following day and reported late. By then, the iPhone battery had overcharged and it had expanded like mandazi. With the expansion, several other internal pieces were misplaced or broken. Now, what were they doing with my iPhone? What were they doing with my iPhone during that time? Remember, they are supposed to, during that time, they are supposed to have surrendered it to the DCI lab so as to be seen if whatever I'm supposed to be accused of have been using that phone. But as I've said, that phone never left Gigiri police station. So for 12 weeks and 2 days is very long. They went up to my WhatsApp group, each and every group they left. Each and every group they left. I even don't know. You know, I started guessing that I was okay. There are some of these obvious WhatsApp groups. For example, there is the WhatsApp group for the primary school. I did my CP, not KCP, CP. I contacted one of the people there. I was reinstated. There is a WhatsApp group for the school that I went for my O levels. I went and saw them. I was reinstated. I went to the WhatsApp group that I did my advanced level. And there was this WhatsApp group for the family, WhatsApp for this, WhatsApp. Those ones I can remember. And others people started even asking me, why did you suddenly? So they went to all my WhatsApp group. There is no single WhatsApp group they left. They went and removed me from, they had my phone. So they were going around stating, they are going around, you see, they have the phone, they have everything. So they go to WhatsApp and they, what do they say? They left. When they recovered when I recovered my iPhone, I was not a member of any WhatsApp group. The other thing was to do with the late Malulu Injendi. The late Malulu Injendi, the former MP for Malava. He had sent me messages via WhatsApp group, which did not fit with his position as a honorable member of parliament. Even after he died, I decided not to delete messages he had sent. I wanted the people to see, especially now that we have a by-election to replace him. I wanted the people to know what type of a leader he was so that they don't elect another thug. These people went to Malulu Injendi's WhatsApp messages to me. They deleted everything. So if you go to Malulu Injendi's WhatsApp messages interchangeably with me, it is already deleted. So I don't know how many other people they deleted messages to them. I don't know, he's dead, but I don't know what entered into Malulu Injendi's mind to write such a thing, which even his own age, he's not supposed to write that. But it is just like when I meet you, I tell you something. How can you prove that I said so? But you see, sending somebody a message in WhatsApp. So they went to that one and deleted. Who knows? The convicted criminal who was now calling the shots, whose boyfriend is a police driver within Gigiri command, may also have been shown my phone book to know which member of our family communicates with me. As an NI officer emeritus, I have saved people under names that only I can recall. For example, we have a TV program called Njoro Uba. So for example, if I know of somebody called Njoroge, I would save him as Uba. So when when you come across my phone, you can think that I usually use Uber, and you not monitor that. On the other hand, for example, if I know of somebody called Kinyanjui, I could recall either, I'm only giving an example, could recall either that at Riruta Satellite, there is a TVET called Kinyanjui Technical. And also there's a primary school called PC Kinyanjui. So if I have a Kinyanjui on my phone book, I could either save him as TVET or I could save him as Geshagi. Geshagi because before the school was called PC Kinyanjui Primary School, it used to be called Geshagi Primary. That is how I have saved names. I want to tell you that if you write in case you are abducted or kidnapped, and you write mama watoto ama baba watoto, or you write my spouse, or you write whatever, the kidnappers will know who your husband or wife is, and they'll call that person straight and say, we have arrested a member of your family, can you send 1,000,000 shillings? So that these things of everybody being given a nickname and you write that, if the phone falls into the wrong hands, they will not know that. Who will know that Uber is somebody called Njoroge? So that is why I did that. But I suspect that the convicted criminal, during that time, she had not been convicted for contempt of court. But as the case continued, by now she's in the records, DCI records as a convicted for contempt of court. So, as I say, she's most likely have been given my phone to check on the phone book. Now, let us continue. I was called by the Riruta OCS. As I had said, I rushed to the police station. I am avoiding as much as possible repeating some aspects. Let me go to the time I departed with my phone, the time we left each other, up to the time I got it back, but damaged. I get a phone call from Riruta OCS respecting her as an individual. I've just said that my opinion is she acts like a nun and she's so much kind-hearted. That one I cannot, even if I'm pained by what she did to me, but I take her to be somebody I've respected. Even right now, I find it very hard to say what I'm saying. Respecting her, respecting her office, with my cordial relationship with the police, I rush. I find that maybe it is something that it is very important. Okay, now people are telling me to understand, as I've said, and whatever. But people are not telling me why at that time she did not understand what. Eh? How comes that ndio ubaya wa kuwa mtu mzuri eh? People tell you to have empathy, but did she feel anything for me to make matters worse? Supposing a boda would have taken me there and witnessed the way I was, can I say, mugged? As of now, none of my neighbors has even, none of my neighbors even has an idea of what I went through. Now, upon arrival at Riruta police station, yes, I was not told what offense that I was a suspect. Even after begging for about 10 minutes, I was begging the Riruta OCS to be told my offense. Remember, a police officer arresting you without telling you the offense you are suspected of being, it says that you are being abducted. I told her, I kept begging her, the Riruta OCS, to be told what offense I had done. She kept quiet. She kept quiet. I think she looked confused. She did what? One, it is like she was afraid of those constables, the DCI constables. I don't know. But she looked that. One of the detectives, just told me that there were at least 3 charges. There were 3 charges. Without telling me even, there was no mention of even one. Now, isn't that an abduction? In 1982, I was told that there are 3 steps of arresting somebody. The first step is you identify the suspect, because it may end up that you are arresting his twin brother or you are arresting her twin sister. So after identifying that you are the JI-TENGE they are looking for, the second step was that you tell the person why you are arresting somebody. The third step is you identify yourself. I was even up to this time, none of the 5 police officers, apart from the one who told me that there are 3 charges, just that, and even showed me 3 fingers like the scout salute, saying there are 3 charges only, not even mentioning one. But none of the officers identified himself, none, even one. Even up to this time, I can tell you that the fellow who was leading the operation was either a coastal fellow or a Mkamba from Chani. But even that, right up to this time, I don't know his name. I don't know his name. How can you be arrested by somebody who does not disclose his name? Now, if they don't follow those 3 charges, then your arrest is an abduction. When Madam OCS called me, because of my love for, I decided not even to take supper. I just felt that it was something that I was to rush, clear with her, then come back to my house. So the only thing I had on me was my iPhone. I just thought it was something I would talk to her 5 minutes and then come back and whatever. I have not, up to this time, I have not come across the OB entry at rerouter. But it is quite possible. The chances are very high that the entry was just written, Gigiri DCI were processing me. Imagine, just like our times during the special branch days, we used to have, you could go and I did that. I must tell you the truth. I did a lot of that. You just place somebody in the police cells and you record there. And you record there that, you record there and say that you record there that pending interrogation by special branch. And the person would even spend in the cells for 1 week. I remember when I was attending the inspector's course in 1988, we had an acting superintendent of police called Kilonzo, who used to teach us police theory. He used to tell us that if you are an OCS and special branch people come and tell you that, they are putting a person in cells pending interrogation by special branch, he used to tell us there is no offense under penal code that is called pending interrogation. If anybody cannot tell you an offense that is in the law books, then as an OCS you can reject that suspect. Just the way, uh, for anybody who is in a police cell, it is upon the OCS to identify the crime and accept him. So if they cannot tell you what offense the person has done, Mr. Kilonzo used to tell us that, tell them to go and look for another police station, to look for another cell of their own. They took my phone. Apparently, it is becoming obvious that they did not record it in Riruta police station, in the Riruta OB. Actually, the policewoman who was on the report office had them want to give me an extra charge of handling stolen iPhone, because they asked me what make it is, and I told them that it was iPhone 6, and then they said it is iPhone 7. So they started saying you must have stolen it, and I told them that this is a phone that I inherited during a funeral, and there were evidence to show that. But apparently they did not record it there. And when a police officer arrests you with something, they are supposed to give you a receipt to show that they have your thing. They never gave me a receipt. They never gave me a receipt. So I'm being told by senior police officers at the regional headquarters in Nairobi, they're telling me, why didn't they record in the OB that they have taken your phone? Why didn't they give you? Now, am I the one to answer that? Is it not them to answer that? Two, imagine I'm a former police officer. How many civilians, people who have never been to Kianja, have their things taken? And the reason why I did not, first of all, I don't know whether I can get access when I'm a suspect to read the OB at the time when I'm being arrested. Two, those things were happening like a dream. Imagine, okay, for lack of a better explanation, we have been fighting for OCPD to move from Kabete police station and come to Riruta police station. So maybe she wanted to know hiyo maneno imefika wapi, or she even wanted advice. That is something that was. Then suddenly you find you are being carried up, you are doing whatever, ABCD. So you even if you know that you are supposed to get the items written in the OB, or you are even supposed to be given a sheet to you, and then the senior police officers asking, why didn't it happen? Why don't you ask those people? Uh, that was on Monday, 8 days when I was arrested. I was supposed to be taken to court on Tuesday, the following day. On Wednesday morning, I was taken out of the cells and purportedly being taken to Milimani Law Courts. But instead of being taken to Milimani Law Courts, I was taken to GSU lab. That is the one and the only time I've seen the GSU lab. Reaching the GSU lab, at the gate on your left, there is a sentry where there is a handful. I won't say how many they are because for security purposes. What I know is that there were two GSU ladies and several GSU men. I was handed over there. The CCTV of the lab can attest to that. So for over an hour, you can check the DCI CCTV and you'll find that I was there. I was then taken to Milimani Law Courts. The CCTV Milimani Law Courts footage can prove that. I can tell you the time I was there. I can tell you where we were standing and whatever. So that when we go to the CCTV to check on exactly that place at that time, you'll see Milimani's CCTV can show the two detectives, me, my spouse, and one of my sons, 5 people. The Milimani CCTV can show them pointing to my son to an Equity ATM. Equity Bank through the ATM at Milimani and through CCTV in that ATM place can show my son withdrawing large amount of money from his university account. One of the two detectives, after entering a vehicle, me and my son, of course, you know what happened. He then enters the law court and comes back. Now, can somebody tell me why I was being taken to DCI lab? You see, I'm supposed to leave Gigiri to Milimani Law Court and back, isn't it? And Milimani Law Court and then whatever. But I'm taken to DCI lab. There are tests which can attest that. We can confirm with Safaricom that that 1 hour, those detectives, their phone calls can be picked being in the general area of the DCI headquarters, especially DCI lab. Now, can anybody make sense where I have to go through all that place, but I do not step into a court? But I am taken to a kiosk near Margaret's house, of which, using my iPhone, I pay for lunch for 4 cups. M-Pesa transactions show that at 11:55 a.m., I paid for food at a kiosk next to Margaret's house. At 13:30 hours, that is 1:30 p.m., I am released on police bail at Gigiri. Now, according to records in Gigiri, is that I stayed in Gigiri. Okay, Gigiri police station has CCTV. But according to records is that I stayed in Gigiri up to Wednesday, 1:30 p.m. when I was released on police bond. But then, how is it that a person who is supposed to be in Gigiri cells, the same person is being seen in DCI lab, the same person is seen, I said in DCI lab, the same person is seen at Milimani Law Court's CCTV, and the same person pays for food at a kiosk by pay bill, is it till number? By till number at a kiosk next to Margaret's house. You can see that. So for the next few weeks, I find myself appearing at Gigiri DCI offices twice a week, Mondays and Fridays. If you can remember, March to May, many holidays were on Mondays. I have a photocopy of my police cash bail. Every Monday and every Friday, I went for an extension of the police cash bail. A withdrawal used to be made in those 2 days, Mondays and Friday, every week. Those are 12 weeks. Now let us talk about the first 4 weeks. The phone, okay, I've just said that the phone used to be activated during the time of interference with it, with that I've said. But then again, every Monday, and you see, if they were doing that, of course, the Safaricom can place those people at Gigiri police station at that time. And again, every Monday and every Friday, I would withdraw money at the police canteen. This is how I can explain. Because of my interaction in the, because of my interaction in the, people are paying through my till number. You have seen till number here. So every Monday or Friday, I would go. Then we would open the phone, and anybody who has paid in the till number, I would withdraw everything. It is only once that when I was out there, I had to use my money. I had to pay for cocoa fuel. I had to pay for cocoa fuel. Otherwise, it was just throughout that I used to withdraw every Monday and Friday. But because of inactivity, as I said, of YT studio, YouTube studio, that thing dried up. And when my M-Pesa dried up, that is when I was now told that my phone was, now depending on whom you are talking to, it was either with the ODPP or the DCI. One of the two, there was one who kept insisting that it was at ODPP, and the other one was saying it was at the DCI lab. I want a forensic test to check whether that phone, because if you took the phone to DCI or ODPP, there are those acknowledgement slips or something like that, isn't it? Forwarding letter. The deputy DCIO would promise me to get it, because I used to beg and say, it's like closing my, it's like somebody has closed my, it's like somebody has closed my barber shop. How do you expect me to survive if I'm a Kinyos? Now, depending on which of the two was around, my iPhone was either at the ODPP or the DCI lab. Because I would go talk to Madam Deputy DCI, she would promise me, at the next time you come, you'll get your phone. But when we go, whoever of the two detective was there. One always said it is with the ODPP, and the other one would say it is at the at the DCI lab. But as I said, don't we have a paper trail? Or even when they used to put it on and off, of course the Safaricom masks must have picked it. I need another episode of Life Without a Phone, because already I've carried a lot of time talking about this. But lastly, I want to say that I'm fluent in 9 Kenyan languages. 9 Kenyan languages, plus Kiswahili and English to make it 11. I am fluent in Lingala, and I'm also fluent in Kirundi. The problem is that I often mix Kinyarwanda and Kirundi, just like Sheng, you mix Swahili and English. I noticed that during that long period in Gigiri, the DCI had about 10 detectives, both male and female. I noticed that issues to do with phones and cash and money issues was allocated to this particular detectives, these two particular detectives. They are the youngest and the most educated among the servicemen who are detectives. But older and more experienced were never allocated such cases. I noticed a trend where nobody except the DCIO himself, who was suspicious that I was using the issues to spy on them, I noticed that nobody nobody understood what I was doing. So any Congolese, any Rwandese or any Burundian, I would communicate with them in their language, Lingala and a mix of Kirundi and Kinyarwanda. And in the way I was talking that, I formed an opinion that these two were being placed there by the deputy and the boss specifically to be collecting money for them. And then, just like traffic police officers, The traffic police officer at the roadblock is usually collecting money, and if anybody has to be caught, then it is that constable at the roadblock.